Writing letters to yourself in order to think something through is not a foreign concept to many of us. Neither is it to Iris Winnow, a poor 18-year-old forced to drop out of school in order to provide for herself and her mother because her brother went off to fight in a war of the gods. However, one day when she gets an anonymous response to the letters that she sent to her brother underneath the wardrobe drawer, she knows that she's no longer alone. Divine Rivals is a self-made mythological fantasy made by Rebecca Ross. It looks like this. It's available on Kindle Unlimited and it is massively popular on TikTok, and for good reason. A dual POV rivals to lovers romance-themed book, with both Winnow and Kit competing for a very highly competitive promotion within the town's newspaper, the Oath Gazette. They want to prove themselves for very different reasons. Kit wanting to rid himself of his overbearing father's opinions and expectations of him, and Winnow simply needing to make ends meet. Somehow, the two rivals get much, much more than they bargained for. And my dog keeps barking, so everyone say hi to Sammy. It's raining. He just got outside. He just came in from being outside. There. Quit barking. Good grief. Yeah. Well, hopefully that doesn't go bad. Anyway, in our story, there's an ever-growing war between the gods, and our duo is placed smack dab into the middle of all of it. It didn't work out. After devastating news in Iris's personal life, she forgoes her own personal safety and starts reporting on the war on the front lines. It's partly in hopes of finding her brother, partly because she believes that she's got nothing to lose. What she never expected, though, was for Roman Kit to start reporting on the front lines with her, and she definitely didn't expect her to fall in love with him. She writes article after article and is actually pen pals with an anonymous friend. She doesn't know them, doesn't know their name, nor what they look like, or anything about them. Only that somehow, whenever she slides her letters in between the gaps of the floor and a door, hello? Her new acquaintance receives them and also writes back. Virtually alone in her world, Iris takes this as an opportunity to connect with someone who, she learns through questioning, is actually about her age, and also a man. Oh, hello. The responder himself seems all too eager to keep responding and keep making this friendship happen, and they quickly find themselves falling in love with each other through pure writing alone. When worlds collide and Iris finally puts a face and a name to the words that she's grown fond of, she must learn how to grapple with the idea of choosing him or choosing the man who brought her to the front lines of the war anyway, finding her brother. So, with that brief summary out of the way, let's talk about the good, the bad, and the downright perfection of Divine Rivals. Divine Rivals is one of the first books in a long while that I found myself incapable of putting down. I had it with me wherever I went on my Kindle, and whenever I could, I was reading it. I had hospital treatments, passenger car rides, the whole 9 yards. I was always reading this book. Rebecca Ross built the pace and the drama of this book at the perfect speed and kept the right amount of tension and drama throughout the entirety of the book. The people that Iris meets in this book are very well-rounded characters in my opinion. They're perfectly believable in every single way that they're presented to you. It's really, really good. For the most part, all of their actions make sense. While there are some decisions that Iris makes that I simply would not make at all, I understand the underlying cause of why she did it and what her thought process was behind it. So ultimately, I understand. I wouldn't do it, but I understand. I try not to be biased and tell myself, well, I wouldn't do that, so therefore I don't like this book or this character because I personally wouldn't do that. That's very a subjective opinion, but objectively, I understand why she did it, so it's still a good write, you know? It's still written very well. Instead, I look for plausible credibility, the underlying cause, the objectivity of why she did what she did. And Ross does a really good idea, thank you, of letting you know why. I look for plausible credibility in the things that they fight for, the things that they argue about, the things that they fuss about, the things that they intensely care for. If their actions line up with what I see in their characters, and the characters in the way that they're written, then it's a good character. The character would be written well despite the personal choices that I would make should I also be in that same scenario. However infuriating it is to read it. Thank you. Divine Rivals has me absolutely begging for the sequel, which is actually quite surprising because it kind of, to me, it read as though it was a standalone book for like a hot minute, and then till like the last like 20-ish pages, it's like, psych, there's a sequel. And I'm very, very excited for it. Ultimate cliffhanger material. Well, no, dare I say, Rick Riordan has the cliffhanger down pat, if you know what I'm talking about. The literal cliffhanger at the end of Mark Athena. I'm looking at you, Rick. The only fault that I can find within this book are that there were some grammar mistakes here and there. I caught that I think that simply just got skipped over in the final editing process. Grammar, to me, is incredibly, incredibly important. So much so that if I'm like in the middle of reading and I see the grammar mistake, it takes me out of it immediately. Like the movie that's playing in my mind becomes words on a page instead of the movie that's playing, you know? It really just ultimately immediately takes me out of it. And it only happened like once, twice, maybe 3 times, but overall, it was really good. And for me, like I said, it takes me forever and a half in order to get back up into that like movie mode sort of thing, instead of reading just like I said, words on a page. It takes me forever to get back into that zone. And though I feel this book is less enemies to lovers and more minor nuisances to lovers, I still think the story of their relationship is just really pure-hearted, lighthearted, very nice, very good. Overall, mwah, I love them, they're so cute. It's told with such great care, and I'm like guided and stepping through their gentle romance. It's very nice. It's just so sweet and kind, and I love it. It's really good. With that in mind, and knowing absolutely everything else about this book is fantastic, I'm gonna give Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross a 4.5 out of 5. Really, like I said, only those grammatical mistakes kind of took me out of it, but otherwise, this story was really, really nice, really well written. The characters are believable, and I love it so much. The pacing is excellent. I got just enough of the world building that the war made sense, and I'm definitely thinking that the sequel coming up is going to delve more into why and how it's happening and the both sides of the war and whatnot. And I'm really excited for the sequel because man, I'm invested. I had genuine fear and anxiety for our characters as they fought in the literal trenches of the war. The visuals I could easily conjure were picturesque in quality, and that's really all thanks to Rebecca Ross's detailed descriptions, and very, very good. Very good. Very, very good. Divine Rivals is simply a fantastic read. 4.5 out of 5. And this little guy, he's tired. He needs to go potty. He's stinky right now. He farted a couple times. The next book that I'm going to review is actually a series. It's 2 parts, and there's actually going to be a 3rd part, but the 3rd part isn't out yet. The 2nd book was literally just released not that long ago. But it is going to be the Gods and Monsters series, specifically the Book of Azrael, which also is all over TikTok right now. And then its sequel, The Thorn? And then its sequel, The Throne of Broken Gods, I think is what it is. Yep, The Throne of Broken Gods. And I would show you what it looks like, but you kind of can't see it. But yeah, there's 2 books in there. I read them both. If you want a femme fatale revenge story, baby, that's the book you read. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is Sammy, and he's such a good boy, even though he barks incessantly sometimes. But you know, he's just a puppy. He's learning. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.